All right. Welcome back, everybody. We have a returning guest here, Mr. Jason, also known as Slow Down Thank You. So thank you for coming.
No, thank
Um,
you.
yeah, so pretty much what we're going to go over today, obviously, just the state of the market. I don't think too much has changed between when you and I last spoke. I mean, if anything, things have gone a little bit more intense, it feels like, but maybe we'll explore that a little bit more. And then I really wanted to look or get your thoughts on where you see this all going next year, just because we have the 30th anniversary. And with Destined Rivals, I thought after Destined, it was just, we were just going to be like this, but it really was like this. And then now it's back up. And I'm curious after the 30th if we'll experience anything along those lines. It's starting to feel, and I could be wrong, but I'm curious if people will eventually get out of the I mean, there's two camps, but a lot of people end up hating new generations when they come up, and then the other half of the people are like next gen, best gen. So I'm curious to get your takes on that. And then I also want to revisit just kind of how the business is going, any advice you have for people right now in this current market, or just again setting themselves up for success in the future. But I want you to introduce yourself before we do that. As always, I have a free Discord, buy, sell, trade there. Talk about collecting, investing, all that good stuff. But yeah, other than that, Mr. Jason, please take it away. Just reintroduce yourself really briefly for anyone that wasn't here for the first stream. I think you were here with us like 2 months ago in the
Yeah, it
beginning of summer.
was like it
So
was last week.
yeah, I know it's gone. It's been like 8 weeks already. It's crazy. 9 weeks.
Yeah, it's how fast space moves. Yeah, thanks for hitting me up to jump back on, Zach. Always good to catch up. It does feel like it was last week, so that's why it's like that feels like we just chatted. But name's Jason. I sell Pokemon cards full time. It's my job. Sell it on eBay and at card shows. And yeah, I guess I live kind of like a world, I don't know, global life now. Like I'm one minute I'm here, and another moment, next time I call with Zach, it might be in Japan. So short and
That would
sweet,
be
what
cool.
I do.
That would be cool. Get a little room tour or setup tour.
It's not impressive. It's nothing
Have you
impressive.
have you recorded ever doing like going around buying stuff there before? Because I know you've done
No,
like I feel like I've seen very vaguely just when I looked up your stuff, like product hauls or something maybe where you were kind of recapping, but
I just show what I buy after the fact. I'm not a big fan of like bringing cameras into public spaces unless you ask for it. And like the YouTube, I haven't seen any videos lately. Maybe it's just not on my feed, but like for like a period in like early 2025, late 2024, it felt like there are so many like Europeans going to Japan and filming content about the reality of buying cards in Japan. And they go to all the shops, and that's kind of that content's already there. And I don't know if it's a very accurate depiction of what you'll actually find if you go. So I have
could
my reasons for not really.
could use the Ray-Bans now. Be a little more discreet.
Oh man, guy with sunglasses indoors. I
Yeah.
don't need that guy.
But no, I agree. That's probably pretty like again with the culture there, it's probably a little more disrespectful to be like in somebody's face with a camera. Whereas here it's like there's more extreme people just in the day to day that you
Yeah.
experience that's probably like the least of everyone's worries. But
Yeah, if you ask, it's fine. Like usually they'll give you like thumbs up, thumbs down. If you look at like Japanese YouTubers who like bring the cameras in for like buying, they'll take it the extra step further and like blur out people's faces.
yeah,
So there's a fair amount of like care that goes into the videos, like in terms of like personal privacy, that as a culture they value more over there.
I also just want to quickly, for anyone that watches this back, I'll do it at the end of the stream as well, but I want to just quickly, because I forgot to kind of shout you out. Anyone who doesn't know Jason or wants to follow him on Instagram, here is his link. But yeah, so what do you think of the market right now in terms of since we last met again 2 months ago? really, it doesn't feel to me like too much has changed. But how are things feeling to you? Um, Kind of going into the end of the year. I think the biggest surprise to everyone probably was this whole like summer slowdown thing that everyone expected. Everyone talked about. It's historically been what we've seen, but I think this market is staying fairly strong longer than people were expecting. So I'm curious now to where it's like now it's kind of up in the air where it's like where does this eventually reverse?
I think it's a good thing that like it feels like pretty samey throughout the summer. Um, if things like change for better for worse, I think it creates a lot of panic. And if things are just steadily kind of chugging along, it means people are invested, people are just like immersed or involved. And it also means I think collectively Pokemon's also putting out like quality sets in terms of like top of the line uh like introductory main sets. And I think Mega Evolution adds to that as well because like I'd even question like is this even a new generation? Like it's a new generation for TCG, but it's not a new generation of Pokemon. So
No,
yeah,
yeah. The
I
only
think
thing sorry, go ahead.
I personally like Mega Evolutions, so like it gets me pretty excited to see like reinterpretations of existing Pokemon. So I think it's a net positive rather than introducing another 75 to 100 Pokemon that, might look like Digimon.
Yeah, no, I think I like the gimmick more than I did with like VMAX and stuff because that just felt like a giant version. I mean, some of them looked fairly different, but megas feel a little bit more. How do I want to say like not unique, but like they kind of fill their character a little bit more. Like I love. I was talking about this. I think in the solo stream I did. I love the Mega Victory Bell so much. Like it's such a cool card or such a cool Pokemon. I feel like it makes me actually enjoy Victory Bell or appreciate it more than I did previously. And there's a bunch of memes that came out of it too, which is funny. But that's I guess so. We're not. Yes, I don't think we're really necessarily getting a new generation, but we are getting new megas that we haven't seen before. Victory Bell, Dragonite, all those types of ones. So there's I guess like a little bit of a middle ground. Um, but I guess my curiosity, let me just in on the megas real quick is what are your thoughts on the upcoming sets? Like for I guess through the end of the year, we pretty much have Inferno X, and then I believe what is it? Mega Dream is the next one after
You,
that.
you listed some of the new rumor sets. I'm like, those are the names for it. Like I thought
Yeah, no,
one of
I
them
mean
sounded like a Yu-Gi-Oh set, like something Abyss.
those are the names that Beach had, which I don't know where he or they had scraped all that information, but let's just say it's subject to change. But essentially, the way I understand it is Inferno X obviously is going to be the Charizard set. It's going to be the Japanese equivalent of Phantasmal Flames, so that will come out first, and then we will have um, the game release, the Mega Game release, and then Mega Dream, which they labeled as a high class set for the year. So that would be similar to anyone who doesn't know to like Tag Team GX All Stars or V Star Universe or ones like that, where they're the smaller box, but theoretically you should be getting like more condensed amounts of chase cards. I feel like, or a better selection maybe.
The high class sets are always good. They've been good
Yeah,
for so many years. Every high class set is great.
Prismatic is a high class set, so or Terrestrial high class set. So yeah.
My
Um,
reaction to like the new sets is that like I think it's pretty formulaic now for Pokemon. Like they know how to like keep people like emotionally invested, especially with like how what they're putting in the sets. Like the newest Mega Evolution set, like the first one that came out, it's like it's cool. Like the artworks are cool, but it's all like B tier Pokemon. Like Venusaur, I'd argue Lucario is a B tier Pokemon. Latias, just like Pokemon you're familiar with, but they don't get you super excited about.
yeah,
Like Gardevoir is really popular. And then the next one with like this Charizard and Gengar thing, like those are S tier Pokemon. And those are gonna like they're gonna make people go crazy. Like especially with the like the comic style. I call it like cereal box art, the one with the word like.
Cereal box art? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
it looks like it looks like a Captain Crunch cereal box. Like, I don't know, but like those are pretty over the top, and like they make them immediately recognizable. So there's a method to this like madness, especially as we go into the holidays. And
Yeah,
like,
I'm a little confused with those now because the Charizard Mega Attack Rare is coming in the UPC, I believe, as one of the promos, the English UPC. But then they also announced the Lucario and the Gardevoir, and we also get those in the base set. And so I'm like, what product are these going to go in? It's very confusing. I don't know. I will say I'm a fan of the. I know I've brought this up before, but I'm a fan of the gold card change that they're doing. I'm not really a huge fan of the golds in general, but at least the artwork is changing a little bit, which is nice. So we have that going for us. But
people will like them all of a sudden when there's a gold Charizard. People don't like them right now because Lucario and Gardevoir.
yeah, that's
I
true.
think they're kind of cool. Like, they come to my table, I just say no. Nice card.
I think the biggest win, honestly, like the mega SIRs are obviously amazing looking, most of them. I think the biggest winners actually are the full art cards because they have completely revamped them, at least in my opinion, to where they're not just like such a basic background, a mammoth swine full art where I'm just like, dude, this looks like the EX, the base EX is just as underwhelming as this, besides just the texture and the hollow. So hopefully the full arts can do a little bit better. But I also understand that like not everything can be a chase card because otherwise nothing's a chase card. So they kind of have to maintain like lower tier rarities, but the same flavored or text so that people can play those cards in their decks or whatever and pull a bunch of like the bulkier cards. But so I guess again I'm kind of going out of order here, but for next year, um what do you think? Or actually, let me backtrack because I wrote this down. I wanted to ask your take on it because I'm assuming you were around for when we had with Obsidian Flames and Ruler of the Black Flame in Japanese. They were really amped up beforehand. I think Ruler got to like almost 150 a box, and then I mean you could get it for like $30-$40 a box,
Yeah,
I think.
cheap.
So I'm curious if you think, and I really don't know how it will work with Japanese booster boxes, but I'm just curious with the whole vibe of the set in general. Do you think it's a little bit different this time because there's a Gengar in it versus just being like Charizard has to carry this set?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different this time because at least according to the leaked artworks, to me, in my biased opinion, I think those artworks in this like new set with the leaks is a lot more interesting than the Obsidian Flame ones. The Obsidian Flame ones, like they're fine, but they didn't really do much for me, and I couldn't name another card out of that set other than the Charizard. It's like the Scarlet and Violet version of Champion's Path, where it's just like, here's a Charizard and here's a black Charizard, and take it or leave it.
Yeah, they
So
have
I
I
think it's
mean
a little
they
different this time around.
it drops off pretty quick. I think the next best card is actually the gold version of it, which goes for like $25. I mean, oddly enough, and I brought this up today on my story, the Obsidian Flames Charizard is $127 on TCG Player now. I think it was like $55 like a month ago. So I don't know what's going on. But yeah, the rest of the set's pretty lackluster. They have a Ninetales that's pretty nice, a Scizor that's okay. And then it really, I like the Pidgeotto, Pidgey line,
Ah,
the
yeah.
illustration rares, but it's just not like a fan favorite Pokemon. It's Gen 1, so it'll do okay, but I mean, they're like $7-8. But
I'm very bad with main sets. Like, you could rail off all these cards, and I'm familiar with the artworks, and like I'm like, oh yeah, I know the Scizor, I know the Pidgeotto line, and then like when you ask me to tell you what set it's from, I draw a blank.
yeah, the only reason I even know is because like I've spent too much time sorting TCG Player by illustration rares and special illustration rares just to see if anything's moving. But I mean, there's tons that I don't know. There's so many in like Paradox Rift and Paldea where I just don't even. I mean, it'll be the what is it? The Volcarona or whatever the mega, not the mega, the ancient version of it, Iron Moth or something. There's like a couple of
Yeah.
those where I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on with these cards, um, but yeah, I guess one question I had was, so we have Inferno X, we have this high class set in the middle or the end of the year, and then 30th anniversary at the beginning of next year. I can't really remember. Like I was around when celebrations happened, but I wasn't only in Pokemon. I was also in Dragon Ball and stuff too. So I wasn't like dedicated to where I was following what the hype buildup was like. I don't know if you remember exactly how celebrations felt, but I just remember that at one point it was extremely amped up, and then at another point things had more or less flatlined, or the singles were 50 cents for most of them, and the Charizard was, I don't know, 50, $60 or something like that. But the Blastoise and Venusaur would be $4 or $5 for a
Yeah.
long time.
Cheap.
You had the Umbreon Gold Star. A couple of the classic Celebrations classic cards did okay, but it's not until 6 to 12 months now that they've actually started to do anything. You could have held a UPC, because at one point I had 4 UPCs. I think it was like the exact same price pretty much throughout the duration that I held it for like a year. It was like a $300 or $350 item, and 3 or 4 years later, it was the exact same price. But now, I mean, they're like $900 or $800 or something.
It's 4 more UPCs than I ever had for
I got them in a
for
trade or something. It
celebrations.
wasn't like actually like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And of course, I sold them at 350 or whatever. So
Yeah, so like from what I can remember, like what you're describing is correct. Tons of anticipation, tons of hype, especially because like 25 is like a nice like round number. And then when everything came out, I think the general consensus was like, that's it.
yeah,
That we're just done with 25th now. But I think it's also because they
like
made a lot of
we're
it.
done. Like people were moving on, or that the products just kind of weren't as interesting as people thought. I feel like the issue was the 20th anniversary with Generations had lots of unique artworks. It had the Radiant collection,
Yeah.
the promo boxes. Those are still some of the best looking starter artworks. So I guess where I'm leading with this is I'm curious what you think they are planning to do, or if you had to guess, or what do you think is something that would be like creative for them to do for this one? Because I don't think they could just do 30 to 50 more vintage cards and put a stamp on it, because there'd be a huge outroar, I feel like. But
Yeah, and I think that's why 25th perhaps flatlined a little bit. I think hindsight's 2020, and we're looking back at about 5 years ago now, and like I couldn't really tell you what I was doing last week versus 5 years ago now, but I think if I recall correctly, when you have like a lot of like, especially when you look at like what they reprinted, it's a lot of pretty iconic or notable cards: Shining Magikarp, Birthday Pikachu, Gold Star Umbreon, and just like stuff from 25 years of Pokemon. And I think that is a little bit more difficult to connect with somebody who's maybe just entering from 2020 with a lot of gaps in their experience. So they see this 25th anniversary set and they see a Gold Star Umbreon. They're like, what's the significance of that? And plus they made a lot of 20 celebrations as well.
right.
So I think leading into 30th, I'd hope that it's somewhere between like what they did for 20th and 25th. 20th, there's so many interesting things, especially Japanese exclusive side, like
Yeah,
all the
that
collectibles
was,
and all
it
like
wasn't, was it
evolution.
the Pokecune or whatever was the set? Pokecune?
Pokekune, which is generations, and then all of the specific 20th related, or at least in that like time frame of 2016, all the collection boxes that they were pumping out at the time,
Yeah.
Game Art Charizard, just stuff that was super exclusive in Japan. So I would hope that for 30th, maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe there's some aspect of reprints. I don't know if you go back to base set. That'd be that'd be a little bold. Um, but releasing other types of products that have that immediacy for the casual collector.
I mean, I think you bring up a good point, which is essentially that it would be difficult, especially if they're getting in a bunch of new people now, to do another like going through all the years. I feel like to it just they've already done it essentially, and true too. A lot of the people coming in now, probably there's been a huge gap between when they were last in the hobby or they've never been in it to begin with. And so, yeah, I'm curious. I wonder if they will, because this is what I don't know, and this is why I kind of in what I was thinking is, they have those other sets that I mentioned, the Ninja Spinner, Storm Emerald, Abyss Eye, which are supposed to be, I think, like it's rumored to be a Greninja set, a Rayquaza set, and a Giratina, Gengar, something along those lines. Um, but I'm curious if that's true, then it sounds like 30th will still be within the release of certain newer mega sets. And so I don't know, do they stick like thematically to megas at all, or is it like completely devoid of that? I guess that's where like I'm curious how they're like planning to do this sort of launch, but I don't know.
Maybe it's like every mega evolution gets an IR or something. Cut and paste the black and white playbook into the concept that they're reintroducing.
Yeah, I don't think they could. It just doesn't seem like they would do it with one generation, but they could. I don't know. It becomes hard when they've done uh, these things a few times at this point. But um, well, I guess then the next question is market wise. Do you think after 30th anything changes? I know it's kind of impossible to know. It's all speculation at this point, but do you think that, I guess just based on what we're seeing now and things not really slowing down during the summer, people are maybe starting to become more aware of Pokemon as, I don't want to say it like as in like as far as investability goes, but just in terms of it comes in waves, ebbs and flows. I like it enough to stick around through the ups and downs at this point. I feel like with the pandemic, it was a little bit different to where people were like, "Oh, I maybe shouldn't be like so over or under leveraged in this," but now it feels like people are willing to stick around a bit. And so I'm curious after 30th if you think anything changes. I think me personally, I think it really depends on if they start again. I brought this up last stream, but reprinting a lot of these, especially in English, these booster boxes for all these other sets, they really have not done any damage based on the amount of demand there is for products right now. But I don't know.
I think it depends on the sets that come out that follow whatever they do for 30th. Like if 30th is like if it flatlines like 21st and the sets after aren't super interesting, then we might see it slow down, especially if they print a lot of it. Like imagine if they print a
I
lot of a
think
set that
I
isn't
think
super
that's what
interesting.
I think that's what needs to humble the market, honestly, is like I know they're trying to do it with Prismatic, but it's not really working because they can't keep up with everything else. It maybe, or also like everyone, Prismatic was just already like one of the most scalped products it feels like to begin with. So maybe everyone's just going to continue to do that. But they need a catastrophic reprint to where it kind of humbles everyone to be like, oh my god, they're still capable of like doing this. Because I think right now the confidence is so high that even with Destined Rivals and stuff, people are willing to spend 300 plus a box now because there hasn't been a reprint thus far. I think even Magic is starting to take a page out of Pokemon's playbook because apparently they've also not been reprinting a lot of their newer stuff, the Final Fantasy stuff. Like I mean, I don't know if it's just Pokemon's figured out that this was a real issue the first time when we reprinted excess amount, but it does seem like they're really trying to funnel to big box, at least here in the US, and really kind of shorting distribution and LGSs. And I don't know if that's just because of like malpractice as far as overpricing products or things like that. But
Just get something in stores. I'd like to be able to buy something just to
yeah,
like rip it open for fun. Another thought that I have too is that like after 30th, I think we'll really start to see the people, and it's not to generalize, but the people who are genuinely interested in the space, collecting, Pokemon TCG as an IP, like they'll stick around. And that's like one very, very big party. And then the other is like if you think of like the investor, flipper, seller, whatever the hell you want to call it, if their business or their operation is going well, they will also stick around as well. I think we'll start to see that a lot of that in 2026. A lot of, especially after 30th, like we'll see the people who aren't genuinely interested in our space and in Pokemon drop out. And then we'll see the people who, for lack of a better term, like this this business isn't working for them, they'll also drop out too. And I'm talking about like the people who pack rip, vend at shows, trying to scalp things,
There's a lot of
investments gone
sneaker
sideways.
heads in it as well.
Yeah,
Which like
I think when they realize that the numbers aren't working for them or like whatever they're doing isn't working, they'll bow out.
it's interesting though, because I would almost like suggest to those people like you can exit the hobby, but don't sell off everything or don't dump everything. Like just like I hate to say like come back when it's popular again, but almost it would be more valuable to those people to just hold on to any singles or product that they have rather than dumping it and getting back into sneakers or whatever, in my opinion. But
They gotta dump it to pay rent and
yeah,
pay off some credit cards.
that's true, I guess. It's interesting. Okay, let me quickly there's just a few comments. So Quilly says, "What's up? Catching up. So slow down." Thank you. Yes, shout out to Jason. The Mega Attack Rares will be in Mega Dream EX. Okay, so he's saying the Gardevoir Lucario, I'm guessing, after the Charizard. That kind of makes sense if Charizard's in Inferno X. It's just weird that they end up doing. I really wanted the Mega Dragonite to be one of those like comic style ones, and then also, dude, can you imagine a Dragonite UPC? That would be so sick.
Yeah.
I think the sneakerheads will be gone by next April. Crypto Bros will stay and leave at their own pleasure over time. Yeah, we'll have to see.
They'll move on to Labubus by next April.
They're probably already stocking Labubus, if I had to guess.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like there are some tables at shows where it's like Pokemon cards and Labubus, and they're wearing like Jordans.
A lot of tables are like 10 to 30% Labubus at this point. I see like those white boxes with the rainbow coloring, and I'm like, oh my god. But hey, I can't knock the grind, I guess. Let's see what else. So what I guess let's hop over to vending. So we talked a little bit about the market in general. We talked a little bit about the upcoming sets leading into 30th. How have things been with vending? You just got back from Pasadena. How was that experience? Is it still everything that it was 2 months ago and more? Were you at front row or what show was it?
I was front row in Pasadena.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it was a good show. The crowd turnout is still very strong, and I think that's all you can really ask for when working at a card show is that they just bring the crowd, and the rest is kind of up to you, like how you price things, what you bring to a show, how you interact with people, etc., etc. Maybe to add additional color too is that this last weekend was my 7th straight show vending. Out of the last 7
7 straight
weekends.
week in a row.
Yeah.
That's
So
insane.
this was a stretch of 8. I kind of post on my Instagram as like 8 shows in 8 weekends, and we're at the home stretch. So I'm honestly like pretty tired. And after this last show in Atlanta for Collecticon, I'll only have one show for the next month and a half or so. But to kind of go back to your question about how shows have been going, the crowd turnout is still great. Like it's still very busy at these shows, and that's all like the showrunners really owe you is like the table you paid for, the tablecloth, and your case rentals, and bringing the people. And I say this because what I'm starting to notice is that like the card shows have been going on like significantly in popularity for the better part of the last like year and a half or so, and it kind of lines up with like the boom period that we're in. And I think what we're starting to see is the just the buyer in general is becoming a little bit more sophisticated with either how they are spending their money, how they're negotiating on things. Sure, there's still people who buy things at sticker or negotiate a little bit down from your sticker. But I think we're starting to see like collectors and buyers like start to become more savvy with how they're approaching their purchases, which is a good thing. And especially in the last like 3 to 4 weeks, something that I had been seeing and then kind of fact checked with one of my friends who uh, I vend with as well is that a lot of these like really really high end graded cards aren't moving at shows. Like you see them sitting at people's tables, and like for example, like ponchos in the tens of thousands or whatever the hell it's been in, and like anything that's like above, I want to say like $1,000 is not really moving at shows. And some of the vendors who have been moving like all of this high end stuff realize that. And what they're starting to do, which is what I fact checked with my friend, was like they'll walk around all of these high end slabs to other vendor tables and trade them for lower value slabs that have a lot of comps and then sell them to like a blind bag company like Arena Club or Courtyard
Oh,
at a percentage at like 90% because they'll buy anything with a lot of comps as long as it's priced like above $100. It's like 100 to 500. So they're taking like a $5,000 card and breaking it down into like a bunch of like you may have seen on Instagram too, like junk slabs, not even junk, but anything that's like between 100 to 500 and have these huge lots and then go cash it out in order to like dump the thing that they couldn't move and then like cash out. So that was kind of like the main takeaway that I was able to kind of confirm what I'd been seeing in the last few weeks. And it's been a general trend where at the start of the year, you saw all this high end moving and vendors selling high end cards to other vendors to make a few percent and just like passing around the really high end stuff and having those go up so far in price. And a lot of the auctions on ZNG like reaching record highs. And then it gets to a point where a card gets so high that the average collector who's attending the show, like they're not going to spend like 3 months of rent on a Pokemon card.
yeah. I
So
think I think there's also a misconception sometimes that like just because the lower end stuff or the more liquid, more comps or whatever, um, has also gone up a certain percentage, that then means the higher end stuff will too. I don't think that's necessarily true because you could still have scenarios where people only have a handful of those lower end ones and they go up 30, 40, 50, 100%. They're still not going to be able to afford the high end card, even if it didn't increase in price in general. So you're kind of relying on those same customers. I will say there's probably more high end people coming in than before, but I think to your point, we're probably reaching some sort of consolidation period, maybe for high end, where like those people have gotten most of what they want, and now it's like, okay, well, where are the rest of the buyers? Because there was like towards the end of my last show in July that I went to for front row Tacoma, um, every table was like high end stuff. It was crazy. Like, I mean, it's all XY Sun and Moon ponchos, that sort of thing. But like you wouldn't be able to tell two tables apart from each other. And I've always said I prefer volume over like price point, in the sense that like I would rather sell 10 $300 cards or 10 $200 cards than a $2,000 $3,000 card. It's okay to mix and match, having a little bit of variety, but I never understood people who are like solely relying on the 3 4 $5,000 plus cards, and they have 10 15 of them, let's say. And it's like, dude, you're really not, the likelihood of you moving that, it feels pretty low. But
we reached a point in the vendor space, card show space, where the total inventory value of like all the Pokemon tables like far outweighs the spending power of all the attendees coming to a show.
Yeah, it's like several $1 million probably for most of those shows.
Yes, and the normal person, even the people who like go to card shows every weekend, which there's a lot of those people actually. My last 4 shows, including this one this week, in Pasadena, have all been Southern California. So I've seen a lot of the same faces every single weekend. They're not the ones that are, they're not coming to buy the first weekend a $5,000 card, the next weekend a $3,000 card, and the following weekend an $8,000 card, all in cash. Like, that's not realistic to expect. However, those cards will move on eBay still.
Yeah. All right, we got Jake. What's up, Jake? Bricks. I'm assuming he's referring to the high end. I could be wrong there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jake.
But anything that doesn't sell is a brick. The high end and the low end.
My average price ceiling is $300. I'll only spend that much at a show. Yeah, and just again, in my experience, there is like a significant portion of parents, children, teenagers, that sort of thing. And granted, some of these teenagers now, to your point, are super savvy and like doing more than I was at that age. But I've just noticed that I would prefer to do volume over a couple high ticket sales. Jason, can you flex your Prism set, please? I know. Did you finish that set?
I did.
Nice.
So now I'm working on doubling up on
Oh my
a lot
god.
of them. So he's talking about these, and I've got them guarded now too.
Nice.
So like, what is this? Venusaur, Charizard. They got shilled on Fanatics over the weekend.
Yeah.
One went to like 9,000. They're not gonna get paid for, but that was kind of a shame to see. So
Dang, boy.
So I think in total, like, just so.
I like the Gyarados a lot.
Yeah.
I think the Gengar
I like all of them.
and the Snorlax too, but those are non-hollow. If the Gengar was hollow, that'd be like a 10K card, probably.
Omastar. I'm gonna cycle through these.
Isn't there Dragonite too?
Yeah.
I'll keep taking comments while you're doing it.
So the Aerodactyl went to 4K on Fanatics.
What?
$4,000 card.
Oh yeah, Articuno.
Then the birds.
Moltres.
Dragonite. So very nice.
Mewtwo and Mew, I think, as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Mew is not a sticker; it's card stock, and then the last checklist.
There you go. A set that no one else in here will probably ever complete. All the rip and ship on Whatnot and YouTube is the first problem. I see people place huge live rip and ship orders and they don't even want them shipped. It's just addicting of watching just the addicting, I'm guessing the addicting feeling or the feeling of watching them being opened. Yeah, I mean, that's to some extent that's not really Pokemon's fault. Their game has always been sort of a randomness chance. Now I think it's gotten a little bit more difficult over the years to pull things, but yeah, Whatnot and rip and ships, yeah, to some extent there is more of a gambling aspect. But I think the world in general, if anyone watches Gary Vee, I don't even follow him anymore, but he does have a good point, which is seems like the world is shifting towards that live shopping sort of aspect anyways. You see it over in China with like clothes and things, so I wouldn't be surprised if that continues. But yeah, there will be a steep drop off there probably if the market ever does shift.
I don't understand live streams shopping.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand it from the seller's standpoint. I don't understand it from the buyer's standpoint. But
yeah.
Thoughts on investing in new Chinese releases, or as they say in China, I don't know how to read any.
I don't read that either.
Commander. Hopefully, it's not saying anything bad. Thoughts on the investing in new Chinese releases? I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on it too, because me personally, I think the prices are ridiculous, but I also understand maybe the limited print run nature. Again, this is I know there are people. I know Jake doesn't really like Nostalgianomics, and other people don't as well. My thing with him is like he does have a good point, in my opinion, about the stability of English in general compared to other languages. As you start going further and further down this rabbit hole, even with exclusive arts, I think you are exposing yourself to additional risk. Now, that could change if the population in China, a billion plus people are actually getting involved in this hobby now. I do think it still is a net positive that Pokemon is releasing the game in different languages. That's something we didn't have several years ago. That's huge for IP expansion and just like getting more eyeballs on it. That could also be a reason why things are kind of staying elevated. I know there's some huge Chinese buyer. There was the Chinese buyers. There was the Chinese Mew Black Label that sold for like 120K or something. I
Doubt
was
it
like,
paid for.
it didn't get paid for?
I doubt it does.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure it doesn't. But I'm just saying, like, there are people actually throwing around 20, 30 grand on these new Chinese cards, PSA 10s, BGS 10s. Oh my god, not Jason calling $500 cards junk slabs. He's
I
just
don't know. Would you want a $500 PSA 9 prismatic Umbreon?
no.
I don't know.
Actually, I probably would because that's, I believe, $300 under market or something.
Oh, really? That was just a random example I threw out.
I think it's like $800 still.
Any PSA 9, like basically PSA 10 misses of main set chase card.
Yeah. I was buying PSA 9 alt arts for a while, but especially the Vs, but they are starting to get, and I forget who pointed it out today. Someone I follow pointed out that like even the 151 Charizard in English, at least, the PSA 9 has now like surpassed raw value finally, because like it's actually difficult to grade, difficult quote unquote percentage wise, even though there's tens of thousands of them graded. But it took a while for that. With like alt arts, for the longest time the nines were $20-$30 cheaper than the raw. But I guess just to stay on track here, what are your thoughts on Chinese releases as far as, I guess, a long-term store of value? Do you see, I'm someone who's like, I'm not totally opposed to it. Like, you can keep a percentage of your collection portfolio, whatever you want to call it, but I'm not a full believer in going heavy on it. However, we all should have invested in Gem Volume 2 or whatever, Volume 3 as well. But
If the exclusive Chinese artworks never make it to another language, then there's some viability there because there's that added layer of exclusivity, that barrier to entry, especially for Chinese product. I can't even tell you how to like buy singles
right.
from secondary market in China and get over here. That's like completely foreign to me. But if they never make it to another language, like then I can see that. But there's always a chance that it does, though. Like a lot of the so-called Japanese exclusives from Sun and Moon era eventually made it to China and other languages, and it didn't really affect like the performance of some of those cards, like in Tag All Stars. But I think with the inverse, where it's Chinese to, we'll call it like the number one in demand languages, like English or Japanese, everyone's gonna want those versions.
Yeah,
So
if they reproduce it.
yeah, like the Gengar, the Psyduck.
The only thing I would say that strengthens the Chinese argument at this point is they've made so many exclusives. Like, they're probably in the, what would you guess, like 20 to 30 exclusives at least for the last couple sets. If we're talking about like the culmination of the different IRs and stuff, there's 4 or 5 Pikachus that are still doing really well. And so I could see, unless they do like one big, I could see a couple of those getting reprinted in English or Japanese potentially, but I don't know if they'll do all of them. So there's still, I don't know. I could see both sides, but
People like it because they're expensive right now also. Like if it starts to like go down in price due to various factors that could happen, like a reprint into another language, then like,
well, and sometimes not even just reprinting in another language. Again, if the overall market takes a dip, Chinese will probably Chinese, like those other Korean, those will take a. I know Korean doesn't have exclusive artworks, but I'm just saying like those will probably take a dip.
Korean Ditto.
The Korean Ditto, shit, we mentioned it. I can't go one stream without mentioning it now. Those would probably take a dip first, so I wouldn't be surprised if not. Just it being exclusive, I don't think can keep it up fully. I think the language has to solidify itself a little bit more. It's too still much in that like hype Labubu phase, it feels like, where you can't really tell if it's going to be sticky. I'm sure it will, just because there's a lot more buyers now and the artwork is exclusive, like the Mew and stuff like that. But I mean, you had the Gengar selling for like more than the Mews were, and the Mew is like actually extremely limited, like 1,500 of those total. So, and there's a lot of fakes going around as well. But
also, like 1,500 isn't like, it's not that rare.
No. I just meant like if you're comparing it to maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe there isn't, but like if you, those other Pikachus or the Gengar, is there 1,500 of those? There's probably more than that.
Yeah.
For those, I'm guessing, but okay. Let's see. I'm kind of behind here. Also, these teens, def getting savvy in the game. I knew this one kid that made 10K in a couple of months flipping. Okay. Honor loves to bring up MetaZoo. I will say, I always have to thank Metapoo for blessing me and getting a solid position in Pokemon starting out. And Dragon Ball to some extent, because I wouldn't have my Fusion Strike Chilling Rain cases if I didn't trade my Dragon Ball. I had a BGS 10 Trunks signature and a PSA 9 Awakened Power Goku, which I still love those cards. I want to get them one day, but they're just too expensive. So, okay. I'm going to try to find serious things. I feel for raw cards, the price point plateaus at around 500, even for rare cards like tag teams. Even rare cards like tag teams don't match their scarcity and price, except for the Lovebirds. Yeah, I mean, it's also probably just based on how many or what the PSA 10 rate is, that most end up being like not 10 quality after a certain point. And so at that point, they're really, the near mint value has like really dropped off, maybe in terms of like most of them not being gradable. It's kind of the same thing with even if you looked at like XY full arts. I mean, a lot of them have gone up a ton, but I'm just saying the likelihood of those getting PSA 10s is like next to none.
Some cards reach a point where, like, when the raw price is really, really expensive, we can use this example, like $500 or more. It should probably go into a slab. One, because it's very expensive. And then two, once the card is in a graded case, you'll be like, there's a much clearer, like, it's much more objective as to what the price will be.
And the condition is like, yeah. I mean, you could try and regrade it, but whether you get 7, 8, or 9, like it's more clear than like, yeah, just being like, this is near mint, and then it has like a micro dent or something.
Yeah. And I've seen this firsthand, like a little personal experience anecdote here with my favorite card, according to some people, the Shining Mew, the Koro.
Oh yeah.
Shining Mew is, I was selling, like, the first time that I had a full display of them raw was 2024 front row card show in Pasadena. And back then, like, my prices on them were between $100 to $200 raw. And I couldn't keep them in stock. And it was across all conditions, like from heavy play all the way to like near mint minus. And like, as we've seen the price go basically up, nowhere but up in the last 12 months, not because of me. Like, I can't sell like a raw copy at the current kind of going price at around $500. As
like, you're struggling to sell them, you mean? Like, they don't sell
it's just expensive. Like, when you get into that price range, then it's like, oh well, how much grade can I get for my $500? Because a PSA 5 sells for like $500. So from there, the buyer, like, when they're spending that much money, there's a little bit more of a discerning buyer of like, okay, that's a lot of money. What am I going to get for that?
On the topic of Shining Mew, I do think the Celebrations Mew probably could do pretty well. I mean, I know it's like doubled or whatever, but Secret Rare, I think it's the only other Shining Mew besides the Gold Star, right?
Do you mean
Or
the
Bubble Mew as well.
one?
No, the Celebrations one.
Which one's that? I'm trying to
The
think.
the gold one. Here, I'll share it. This one.
Oh, that one.
I think it's like 220 in a PSA 10 or something. I mean,
Really?
obviously, I'm not a fan of things that just do this type of movement, but uh, who knows? This could be your next Korokoro.
I
Imagine that we get priced
don't
out
know.
so badly that you.
I like the
Did they have that one in English or in Japanese?
I
I
want
don't
to
know if they
guess and
did.
say yeah. I haven't put too much thought into that card in a long time.
I want to see if they had it in Japanese.
I
Mm.
really like the shiny treasures or
Okay, they did.
what's the Paldean Fates? It's not the Bubble Mew, it's the other shiny Mew, the basic shiny Mew. I think that card's better than Bubble Mew.
Oh, the full art.
Yeah, just a regular full art. It's like such good value. You can get like a shiny Mew for in
Yeah, I
PSA
guess
10
you're
for
right. I guess there's more shiny Mews than I thought.
yeah, it's a blue Mew. Like same with the Charizard from that
How
set.
much is this one going for? What card is this? 216. $11. Could be the steal of the century. Oh wait, that's heavily played. $20. Nope, $30.
My prizes are gonna be all over the place because like I'm like only dealing in Japanese, but like the Japanese
Yeah.
version of that card in PSA 10 is like $55. And like last year's holiday season, I could not keep that in stock. Like on eBay, like they fly, and I think it's just a really good value for really anyone.
Hmm.
Shiny me for $50.
Okay. I am so far behind. Will the mega sets see growth like Destin in a couple months? Destin was 250 for a minute, then jumped. That was kind of the purpose of the video, or like the thumbnail I made, was that I'm a little bit cautious of the set, not only because of what Jason said, which is like tons of B tier Pokemon, it feels like, but also it's just I don't see a world in which Mega Evolution 1 is more popular than Destin Rivals out of right out the gate out of release. Like I don't see how it can sustain whatever it's at 320, 330 long term. I also think again, this is just my take, but since Pokemon is going to be marketing their new video game, why would they not be printing more of this set to the people that are going to come in and consume the video game content and then want to that might introduce them back into the card game. But it's just my take. If I were to bet on one, I would bet on Destined right now over ME1 at least.
I'm generally indifferent about one or the other. I also
They're
don't think
both
I can have
well.
I'm not
They're
allowed
all
to have a strong opinion on this because the most recent booster box I've purchased is Journey Together. I got my
they
booster
got him, boys.
symbol
They
behind
got
me.
him.
No, I bought it. I was able to get it on Pokemon Center. I bought a
Oh,
case.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I got
nice.
lucky.
Hey, there you
Oh,
go.
other than that, nothing.
Yeah, no, and honestly, at the end of the day, it's really hard. I know Pokemon's not really reprinting too many booster boxes, but it's really hard for me to advocate for these brand new sets at 250, 300. Like the most recent set. We're not talking the beginning of Scarlet Violet or Sword and Shield. We're talking like the most recent set. I would rather buy Astral Radiance at 370, 380 than Destined at 300 or MEO1 at 320 or whatever. It's like a $60 difference for a set that's already out of print, has the most popular trainer gallery or the most expensive trainer gallery. Again, the alt art's kind of lackluster, but still, I think I would take Astral over that. $500 junk slabs. Bless the hobby. I love how that's what's being taken away from this. Okay, Pokedip 22 Chinese exclusives. Good to know. Not gonna lie, I think if they reprint the exclusive Chinese arts, the whole Chinese market dies immediately. Yeah, I mean,
I actually
they
disagree
are.
with that.
You think it would stick around?
I think it would die in the lens of like USA market, but like the Chinese market in China alone, I think it would continue chugging along.
Yeah, the market itself might sustain itself, but I don't think the prices probably would.
Yeah.
But there is way more people in the US that have Chinese exclusives than I would have thought. But yeah, I don't know. No, Zach, let's talk more about Korean Dittos. Let's not do that.
Do you have any?
No, I don't have. I was so unimpressed by that card when it came out, but that's just me. I just am not a fan of the Scarlet Violet regular hollow effect. And so to see it on promos like that, it just doesn't do it for me. I like the artwork. I like the Ditto Lapras, and we're doing exactly what Quilly wants us to do. Yeah, I like the artwork. I don't know. The hollow, it's not my thing as far as promos go, but Dip agrees with Quilly. Phantasmal, $500 a box at release. No, please no. If we continue to see stuff gap up that much, I really will start to take like serious profits. $200 to $300, I'm still like, I can wait out the storm. But once you start getting into that range for like brand new stuff, granted, I probably won't have any Phantasmal to begin with. So the best deal I could find from someone I would get a lot of boxes from was $1,400 for MEO1, and I was like, no thanks. That was $233 a box, but I did that for Destin too, which was crazy. But I'm like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, I'm not touching those at that price.
1,500, not that rare. Jason, please never change.
It's not. It's really not. There's so many cards that are like 1,000 and below, and even 1,000. Like you go to, and so Quilly is like local to me too. So he goes to the same shows I go to. Like you go to East Bay, and there's one vendor who had 2 for the longest time. That's already 2 out of 1,500. That is just like right in front of you, and
Yeah.
at like every card show. So it's not rare.
I definitely like Mew has now entered the category, the same category as Gengar entered for me a couple months ago, which is like I can't fade Mew any longer. I think the Bubble Mew kind of changed my entire perspective on that Pokemon as a whole. Like I knew it was a popular Pokemon; it always did very well, but it always felt like it was like, I don't want to say A-, B+ tier, but it was just like not quite the edge. But now, after seeing what happened with Bubble Mew, I'm just like, I can't fade this Pokemon anymore. And it happened with there's also the Chinese exclusive with the Pikachu and the Mew in the artwork. Any of that stuff from now on, I'm locked in, keeping my eyes on
Mew's
it.
definitely, in my opinion, like an S tier Pokemon in recognizability, popularity.
That's why I've been chilling Temporal Forces so hard for the last couple months, is just because it has that Morty's Conviction. And that Ghastly, dude, that Ghastly, I'm telling you, the Ghastly is at $55 for an IR.
That's another thing too, is like I don't know how much like steam there is to like
Sustain
the
that.
artworks with like the S tier Pokemon that are just, it's like featuring this Pokemon, not like they're not the main artist on, they're not the they're not the main singer on the card.
Yeah.
Because like there's that one Umbreon on the full art trainer that's kind of just
Penny.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. That one, I looked at that one the other day and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Even if it does move up, I can't get around it.
It's like the Phantom, was it Phantom Forces? The Alakazam secret rare? Fates Collide. No, it's Fates Collide.
Yeah, Fates Collide.
Alakazam. It's got all of them on there.
Yeah, I every time I look at that card, I just see the Alakazam. Like I don't even see the other Pokemon. And that's maybe just me glancing over it, but I just don't even pay attention to it that much.
I know what you mean though with the Morty's Gengar, because I like the card too.
I think the only downside to it is that it's a trainer. Like I wish it was Gengar and then Morty was just in the photo, but I do think it does, for whatever reason, at least in English, trainers seem to have a tougher time moving up compared to just Pokemon, but I don't know. That is my temporal shill for the day. Dude, the freaking regular. The full art is $40, people. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding
Yeah, I
me?
don't know about that.
This is problematic. This is a problem. I think I have one of these. I should really be listing this. 38. It's probably getting bought out because it was selling like 10 to 20 a day. 38 in a day. Ew. Wait, okay. We're gonna keep talking. I want to look in the background actually what the PSA 10s of that are going for.
If it's $40 listed, right? I can't imagine a PSA 10 is more than $100.
Gengar.
That's what I would.
This kind of happened though with the VMAX from Fusion Strike, where like the regular VMAX is like $200 or $300 in a 10 now, and the raw is like 40, 50, 60 bucks, whatever it is. But I'm just not a believer in it, again, as like an investability standpoint goes. If you're at a show and you see a bunch of those raw, and you could get a bulk deal and like grade some, go for it. But as far as just like, dude, bro.
Someone comments it's like 350 plus.
Bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
275.
That's
I'm selling. Immediate sell. Instant liquidity sell. All right. Let me catch up. Oh yeah, this is a good one, Pikachu. This is a good one. I have a video of me shilling this, and it went down from like 22 bucks to like 15 bucks, and I was like, damn, I'm so bad at calling plays. And then now it's like 40 something. This was a big. This one probably still. I mean, the glaring galleries are pretty high pop, I think, but they're pretty hard to grade. But yeah, this. Just share my screen for anyone who doesn't know which one we're talking about. This Mew right here is actually climbing the ranks. It is top 7 card in the set now. It just needs to pass Leafeon V-Star, and then it's right up there with the Golds and the Mewtwo. So, yeah, $40 for this. I think this was less than $10 a year ago. Yeah, $5. I was buying most of mine at like 10 bucks. What's up?
Even the Pikachu's gone back up.
Oh yeah, that one was 60. Dude. I couldn't sell those for like $15. Holy shit! Yeah, I mean, you could throw a dartboard at any card at this point, and it's probably going up.
Oh, I also meant the other one.
Oh, the secret rare.
Yeah,
I think I have a couple of those still. That one is not in the Galarian Gallery. I believe it's just.
Yeah, it's a secret rare. I found a pile of those in like one of my boxes. Like
the Japanese one's really expensive though, isn't it?
Yeah, precious collector one.
I wanted one of those boxes so bad. Bro, where is this card? Yeah, it's at $40. Yeah, it's doubled in price since at my last show that I did two-ish months ago. Yeah, 185% increase in the last 3 months. Crazy. Let's see what else. Crypto boys look at Mew and go, "There's our lad." Yeah. Ooh, nice. You have 7. Do you still have all those Pikachu? The glaring galleries? I think I had like one. I sold it at like 140 or something. Stop! I'm behind. Ditto mentioned. I'm behind as well. I'm like 10 minutes behind the chat. Jake hoping for a visa. I love this. Let's look at the Lucario because I think that one's up as well.
Did it have the Jake shill effect?
Yeah, this is the Jake shilly effect. $16. I think I got most of these a couple months ago for like $4. Yeah.
That doesn't feel bad still.
No, and if you look at the volume, like for the last 3 months, it's consistently sold over 100 copies a day. Or every 3 days, it seems.
Jake's buying out TCG players we speak right now.
Jake's pulled out his 401k to buy every single Lucario V-Star. These questions scare me. Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm just rolling with the punches at this point. You guys are having your own chat here. 233 a box sounds like an insane deal. Cases will be regularly at 1,800 2K easy. So here's my problem. It's not that it's not a good deal under market. It's that I think there are better places to put your money for a return as someone who looks at it from that standpoint a lot of the time. I like to look at the boxes. I enjoy Pokemon as a hobby, but there's also the side of me that's trying to be logical where I'm like, when is the best time to buy this product? It doesn't seem like now is the best time to buy it, as far as I'm aware. Once the singles start being ripped, and I think the allocation, the two waves for English is going to be a problem. So that could contribute to potentially more price increase, but I don't know. I just can't. What is the best buy under 1K right now? 2 Coral Muse from Jason's table. No, I'm kidding.
At this point, I can get you one.
I don't know if I could give like solid advice on what the best buy is. I would say buy something that you truly think is undervalued and do your due diligence, do your own market research. That's not meant to be rude, but I'm just saying like the DD I did with Temporal, again, anyone could do that, but it feels like that thesis is playing out to some extent. Whether it's going to be a top set, I'm not looking for the top set. I'm looking for things that I think are not appreciated properly right now. And that's how I felt about that. So not saying for you to buy a Temporal, but I'm just saying that's how I would approach. Like I would literally go through every set from Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, look at the boxes, look at the singles, try to make an educated guess, and just deploy a little bit of capital. Another one that I bought recently, I bought 10 Tyranitar illustration rares from Paldea Vault. Because I said, why is this the same price as the Raichu? Why is this $7 cheaper than the Iono full art? This is Tyranitar we're talking about. The Groudon, I compare it to the Groudon most often. I feel like the Groudon is $80 now. I could see the Tyranitar being $60, $70, $80. Could it stay at $40? Yes, it could, but I'm trying to make an educated guess just based on like a similar. That's all you can do. Like everyone is guessing. Nobody knows. So try to do your due diligence and create a
How much
thesis.
is the Tyranitar right now?
I just checked before the stream. I think it's at 48. And I bought mine from a friend on Instagram. So I think it's still like honestly anything under like 50, 55, I think is pretty good for that card. But once you get into like 60, 70, I probably wouldn't be. But like the 10s are still like $400. So like it's still, I mean, it's still pretty solid. Yeah, 49. So it's the third most expensive card right now. You have Magikarp at 265, Iono at 50. Tyranitar is about to dethrone it. Honestly, the Raichu will probably pass as well. But I just felt like I bought it at $43 a card, and I paid 90%, I think, or 88%. So I got them for like, I want to say like 38, 39 a card. I think I sent like $390 for 10 copies or something, which is paying like at the time. That's strong for market. That's like 90% for a bunch of singles. But again, my thought there. I mean, look at this, dude. Like I'm not gonna have a Maushold be the same price as the Tyranitar and feel good about myself buying the Maushold. Like it's just not gonna happen. So I mean, like, dude, even the Meryl must have dropped a lot, and the Meryl's at $21. But there are other cards from this set that I still like more than a lot of those, like Sprigatito, Masquerada, Chien-Pao. Like I always am picking those up when I'm at shows, even though I usually am kind of flipping through them. But on the off chance that one of them spikes, or on the off chance that I decide I want to actually build a position in them, like those are the cards I'm comfortable keeping. Again, not trying to tell you those are the cards you should be buying. I'm trying to say formulate a thesis, double down, have conviction in it, and be sustainable. Don't waste all your money on this stuff, but because these are still fairly new products. But I do the same thing with Sword and Shield, trainer galleries, Galarian galleries. There's still plenty of opportunities out there. Especially with a lot of those gallery cards, the PSA 10s in some cases can be tough to grade. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Sorry, that was a ramble. Jason kind of went off.
No, you're
Temporal
good.
Force is the new Crimson Invasion. Nah, don't do it like that. Nah, I think Temporal Forces is like a just above mid tier. So like kind of just above average at this point. Because I think the top 3 really booster box sets are Destined, Surging Sparks, and Prismatic probably for Scarlet Violet era. And then I'd probably put like temporal, and what am I forgetting? And then, I mean, I would put all the specialty sets before temporal probably. So it realistically, yeah, is like just above the middle of the pack if we're looking at all the sets.
Couldn't even tell you a card that was in that set.
Hey, in Crimson or temporal?
Both.
Oh my! I just showed you temporal. You know the Morty.
Outside of that, then.
Mew and Gengar collectors might be just as crazy as Charizard collectors. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I had an epiphany where I was like, after the Gengar VMAX alt did its thing and like dethroned the Giratina for a while, I was like, I cannot fade this card anymore, or I cannot fade this Pokemon anymore. Dragonite is like wanting to get to that tier. It feels like it's almost there. I think the Mega Dragonite is going to shock a lot of people because I was not a fan of it. I know Jake was like a huge fan of it, and he was reposting all the artwork and stuff like that. And I don't know if it was him or someone else where they were just like, dude, once they make an SIR of this card, everyone's opinion on it is going to change.
Oh, yeah, that was me. I messaged you.
Yeah. And I was like, you're so right, because even it just makes me think of like the Sleepy Dragonite from Evolving Skies. Imagine they have something of that caliber with the Mega Dragonite, butt wings, head wings, whatever you want it to be. It will perform very, very well. And that's where like you kind of have to put, if you're looking at things from a value standpoint, you have to put your own opinions aside sometimes and look at like what the market values.
You know who's just as crazy as Mew and Gengar collectors? Psyduck collectors.
Yeah.
Put Psyduck on your table, on your store, it's going to sell.
Well, I didn't know until like a year ago that Psyduck is in every single World Championship. Yeah, which is such a cool gimmick and I think Pikachu is too, obviously. But like even you go back to 2004, 2007, the tropical tidal waves or whatever, Psyduck is like in the wave, like hiding like in certain spots or on the surfboard, like super cool. All right. Dude, I'm so far behind. I got to scroll up, guys. Thank you all for being here. We have 31 people here. I think this is the most people we've ever had, Jason. So congrats on pulling an audience.
It says more about you than me. I'm just another guy.
Quilly says he's going to have a stroke. All right, I really need to catch up then.
If you're going to have a stroke, you should seek medical attention.
Zach, when the brain dead nonsense goes down, you back up the truck. Trust yourself. Yeah? Okay, here we go. Let's get into it. Mega Evo's booster box is not a bust. Instead, it's the best looking base set booster box ever. Just wait until it gets released in the public. I am not saying it's not a good looking set. I'm just saying I'm just looking at it as like people are calling it a base set. I don't even think it's really a base set. Like it's like a tail end. I almost want to call it like a specialty era of Scarlet and Violet because we didn't get the full 12 sets that were owed. And everyone compares it to like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, which I think is one of the not as good performing eras from back then. I was not a fan of the Legends cards. I don't know if you were. When I see the Lugia's wing or something going for like 10K in the PSA 10 because people need like the other half for their collection, I'm just like, dude, this gimmick is the worst. I like the Raikou and Suicune though. That one's cool. Yeah, and I was just saying it's possibly a bust in terms of the price point. Not saying the set itself is a bust. I think it's a great looking set. I think that Mega Gardevoir is still probably my favorite card that's been revealed from the era so far. So yeah, definitely not saying it's a bad set. Just saying the price point is a little bit bonkers to me. But we're gonna continue saying this all the way up the food chain. If boxes go to $400 out of release one day, we're gonna say it's a bonkers price point, and it could still continue to do well, and it could go back to $100, and then we'll say, "See, I told you so. I was right." That's what YouTube Pokemon is at this point. It's just people trying to pick a side and be right, but nobody knows.
I just want to be able to go to the store and buy an ETB. Is that so much to ask for?
Nope, you're gonna get scalped, and you have to fight for it. It is pretty ridiculous, though, some of those videos and stuff I see. I'm just like, dude, this is like going to bring me down on my day if I watch this. Like, it'll be like store owner has to scalp like product from local Target because due to allocation cuts or something. Dude, just leave it. There are so many speculative singles plays to be made in this market. Yeah, again, I'm not trying to tell anyone what to buy because you could buy any card at this point and it could go up 20, 30% the next week and you look like a genius. This happened with the illustration rares a couple months ago where everyone who was buying them looked like a genius. And then if you didn't sell, you look like an idiot because you bought Drowsy at $80, let's say. Although I gave you Tyranitar. The other card I was thinking about buying was the Drowsy because it's sitting at like $30 in English and the PSA 10s are like $500. I'm just saying.
I would say just look, honestly, buy what you like, but also look for what you like at good values.
Yeah. I think that's a good.
All there is to it.
Yeah, I think everyone overcomplicates it and is really like getting too tunnel visioned and in the weeds, but really that's how I see it too, is like, what am I okay with getting more of if it drops more? Like if I bought this today and it dropped more, I would not feel the best about some of these cards that people are buying, Chinese exclusives and stuff like that. Question: when will the market boom again? I am bored. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it'll boom again next week, or next month, or 30th. Okay, everyone is having like side conversations in the chat. I am so far behind. Do your due diligence and buy 1996 card ass. Yes, this is the best comment so far.
Buy 1997.
What's the other one? Someone was sending me on Instagram. I won't show his name, but I want to show the card. It's a different type of Pokemon Prism. Are they sealed ass or what are they? Let me see.
Yeah, they have some prisms as well. It's like a sticker. It's an actual like sticker set. Sealed ass. There's different variations. I don't know nearly as much about that as I do card ass.
This one?
Yeah, those are the first one where the thumb is 96 card S.
But then the prisms as well are what, 90?
There's a Venusaur in the middle. That's 96 card S.
Okay.
They're all some sort of like variation of Bandai era vending.
I wish I bought more of that stuff when I went to Japan, because when I went to like Mondarake or any of those places, they would have walls of, and I'm not just talking Pokemon, I'm talking Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, all these super cool niche franchises that you never knew that they had prisms for. They had it for everything. Telephone cards, they got it for everything.
Yeah. Still stuff that is like pretty under the radar still. Like, yeah, it doesn't have nearly the exposure that other Japanese has at the moment, and even stores themselves still undervalue it, in my opinion, because they can't move it.
The only downside is of how niche of a market it is. Like, I didn't even know about it until like 2 years into collecting Dragon Ball that even existed. It wasn't until I got on Baiyi and I was trying to buy Super Dragon Ball Hero cards that I found that they were prisms.
Yeah, it just depends on what you're going to do with those, like if you're to buy it. Because like if you're buying them with the sole intention to sell them immediately, then you have some work to do. Yeah. But if it's because like you think it's cool, different, rooted in history, and for like collecting purposes, like now's probably the time.
Dude, to this day, those Mario Banpresto prisms are still one of the best. Again, not everything is an investment to me. I bought them because they were cool back then. I graded them, just did so well on grading them that I started to list them on eBay. And once you find the right buyer for cards like those, it is insane. I mean, we're talking like 1,000% return, because I paid $5 a card, $20 to grade, and I sold it for $300 to $500 on every single 10 I got. It's ridiculous. But I thought this was funny. Jake said he bought Mousehold for his IR binder, meaning he just dropped 40 buckaroos on that. Card has been a pain in the ass to find. Yeah, I don't really see that one at the shows I've been to, but I haven't been to a show in 2 months. So, real question: what if it all goes to zero? I'm gonna let you answer that.
What if what?
What if Pokemon all goes to zero? What if like
there are larger problems outside of Pokemon for us to worry about?
What if the world keeps going as is, but Pokemon goes to 0? Um. Oh my god, my girlfriend likes Mousehold, so I invest. She's my North Star. My girlfriend's upstairs right now. I wonder if she's still watching. Maybe she can give us some investment advice. You forgot to show. You forgot the most expensive SV booster box, which is Paldea Evolve. I'm not sure what you mean by I forgot it. Oh, like relative to um Mega Evolution? Yeah, but here's the thing. Paldea Evolved goes out of rotation in what, 7 months? So they won't be printing any more of it. They've done 2 or 3 smallish scale booster box reprints of Paldea already. So again, I'm just hedging. How I like to think of it is hedging your bets, or risk on, risk off, whatever you want to say. The likelihood that they reprint. I mean, remember the rumor a couple weeks ago from the Discord group that Paldea Evolved was getting a reprint. Everyone in the comments, oh, the investors are going to die, like crash. I never saw a single booster box like hit the market that impacted it. And people sold that news. So again, not saying you can't buy Mega Evolution at $300 to $350, whatever you want to pay. That's fine. I'm just saying you're going to have to deal with that price point for the following 2 to 3 years and be okay with it, and either holding it or dollar cost averaging down if the price drops.
I feel like a lot of the knee-jerk reactions to this type of news of like panic selling, the world's falling, it's either like one or two things. It's like you haven't been here very long, you haven't been doing this very long, or two, you're like over leveraged and like 99% of your net worth is in like the most recent set. I don't know. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm a believer in, like, if you really have to have the set, buy a box of it, buy a case of it, whatever you need, but do not buy 10, 20 cases of this set at the prices unless you're getting distro price or whatever, which
Or unless you can actually put your money where your mouth is and hold it
yeah.
for as long as
Yeah.
it needs
I
to.
I am just speaking from the experience of a 26-year-old who works full time
Yeah.
and wants to afford a house in the next couple years, and I'm like, that would impact me if I dropped, I don't know, 5K on this set and get railed by it. But I'm also not buying Paldea Evolved at $460. The last time I bought Paldea Evolved was at I think the last box I bought was 300, and before that it was all of them were below 200. So I 460 is like too high for me right now. Let's see. Kai, if it goes to 0, we put the fries in the bag. Yes, that is correct. Phantasmal Flames booster box price prediction end of year. I'm gonna give you the question, which is Inferno X end of year price point. What do you think? Because what is Mega Evolution at right now still? Like 80 or something? 70, 80? You don't
No
do
idea.
sealed though, do you?
Yeah, I don't do
Yeah.
sealed. I don't follow any of this. Couldn't tell you when the set was coming out. Like,
All right, so
if
$1 million is the answer from Jason.
if I had to guess though, it'd be like 100.
Yeah, it's
I
got to
don't
be
know.
higher than MEO1, I feel like.
Like, I think about the only thing that I can really cite is like the terrestrial prices. Like, post release, a few months in, they're still about like $90 per box in like a secondhand store. So that doesn't feel like outrageous. Like, yeah, you're paying like 2x the price, but for like the tourist mindset going there, like it's not the end of the world if you buy one to rip. Now, if it's like 200, that's insane. But 80 doesn't feel outrageous. I'm just like kind of grasping at straws here. The Tohoku box, the one with the promo is like $200 over there now, and that retailed at 2,000 yen. So to like scale it down for like a main set in today's kind of like environment, 80 doesn't feel 80. I would just see 80 and be like, oh, I don't want to buy it, but okay.
It's like double MSRP.
Yeah.
Pretty much for Japan. If I had to guess for Phantasmal, I'm gonna guess it really depends what happens with MEO1, in my opinion. If they really shill that set because of the game, It just feels like their release schedule is so tight that Phantasmal, I think, comes out a month after the game release. So I don't even think there's going to be enough time to really like allocations and stuff will probably be out by then, and it doesn't seem like things have been exploding in supply or quantity. But I would guess probably if I'll give two scenarios. If MEO1 stays the same at 300, let's say, I would guess Phantasmal would be like 350 out the gate. But I really would like to see MEO1 closer to like 200 to 240 ish, kind of what happened with Destined, and then I could see Phantasmal maybe around 300 ish. But again, it feels crazy to me to even say that. But at the same time, this is just like the nature of the market that we're in. So I don't know what else to say. I can't just sit here and act like those are not the actual prices people are paying, because they are. Like, you can't really, at this point, you can't say it's manipulation on that large of a scale. Like, I guess people just want any exposure to Pokemon that they could get. Again, my piece of advice at this point, I'm a full modern guy shill, but at the current prices, I would be looking backwards to Sword and Shield era, probably even some Sun and Moon stuff, maybe not necessarily booster boxes, but certain singles and promos, and probably earlier Scarlet Violet era. But that's just my take.
Yeah, I agree.
Hardware,
It's like too crazy. Like, it's best to go back. Like, people have gotten about stuff from like 6 to 12 months ago, and that would be the time to like pick up the stuff you actually want.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think like again, some of the alt arts, like even like again the Machamp V from Astral Radiance, not my favorite card, but I think it's like the exact same price it was a year ago. The Blaziken VMAX is still $320 or whatever.
Yeah, even I went back and like actually picked up like some singles from recent sets that I just like artwork that I really like, not even for like
Yeah.
buying for like inventory, like
Right.
the Typhlosion IR, the Misty Psyduck, the Lapras, the Kangaskhan with the Quagsire, the Morty's Gengar. I did buy a few of those. More of the Shiny Mew, the Shiny Treasures one, some Tohoku boxes. So just like going back, like aside from the boxes and just buying stuff I like.
Yeah. No, I think that's a
Kind of
solid.
cool off a bit.
That's like all you can do at this point, because otherwise you're getting caught in the wave of FOMO and just like you're not really having a strategy at that point, which I don't think is the smartest thing. You either should be enjoying it or have a good strategy, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
or do both, which a lot of people are doing neither right now. They're just trying to like get. I mean, I gave up on Pokemon Center drops a long time ago. I know people are still trying to get those, and it's just like, dude, it's not happening. I think people said there's 3 million or 4 million people in the queue. So, yeah, we're not doing that. Okay, I want to wrap up in the next couple minutes. Again, thank you everybody for being here and leaving all the comments. They're very funny and also good to think about and talk about. But I want to respect Jason's time and also respect my girlfriend's time upstairs. We're going to go eat dinner soon. But Jason, is there anything else you'd want to ask me before we wrap up? Or before we do that, what is one piece of advice you would give people in this? I mean, the amount of comments we just got, how crazy that was, that flurry of back and forth. Like, it shocks me that those are some of the conversations that get had. But I'm curious, if you were to give someone brand new one or two things to keep their head down and focus on, what would you say?
Figure it out. Honestly, no, I'm not even joking too. It's like, that's just like, if you're serious about this, like it won't feel like a job to go down the deep rabbit hole on your own time and like learn about like the history of certain cards, the lore behind certain cards, trying things yourself. Like, if it's one pet peeve or just like one thing that I just can't stand, like in the space, especially like at shows, like meeting like other, I don't know, like I don't know, I meet people nowadays and the first thing that I get is like questions on like what cards do I buy, and that just like tells me that you just want like the answers, not like actual like curiosity on like how to like go deeper into the space and like learn more about the space's history,
I mean,
uh,
it's
what it's worked
crazy.
in the past.
It's crazy people will say, "What card do I buy?" without like even suggesting anything. Like if it were me, I'd be like, "What card should I buy? I was thinking about this," or like, "I've been
Yeah,
looking at this. What do you
yeah,
think about that?" As opposed to just saying, "I have no experience, no exposure, no thoughts at all. What should I buy? Because I see that you're doing well." And it's like, dude, half of this stuff I wouldn't have guessed would have performed the way it is. Like I
yeah,
expected the movements we're seeing 3, 5 years from now, but it's happened in a year. So it's like I don't know what to tell you.
yeah. Usually when like once you like ask someone for the answers, chances are like the train's left the station.
Yeah.
So like there's that. Um yeah, learn by doing. I think a lot of people, especially like in the space, in order to like really gain traction, I think you can't do that without risk. Like obviously don't over leverage yourself, but like if there's something you like, if your gut is telling you something, you might as well try it, because if it doesn't work, then you can kind of course correct and try something else. And if it keeps like not working, then maybe maybe there's something else you're better at.
Right.
But eventually this space is forgiving enough to where if you like something, chances are somebody else likes it too, and you'll find like, market fit for something that you want to either invest in, consume, or something goes up in value, or if you want to start selling out like parts of your collection, chances are it's worth something, and that's a starting point. And then from there, like you're gonna meet people at shows. That's a good thing about going to shows, is the community aspect of it. And you'll learn through those experiences as well. Maybe you post a few things online on eBay, and overnight it sells, and that's something that it's a little badge of honor to sell something online and ship it out and post more things and those sell too. And next thing you know, it's like you're actually busy.
Right.
So figure it out.
Yeah. No, I think that's super solid advice. I also think you kind of have to like there's the risk aspect of needing to with buying something, but you also need to take the risk in order to learn what worked and what didn't work. If you never take the risk, you'll never know, essentially. So like even how I was talking about the Tyranitar or the temporal forces or whatever, if I just sat there and thought about it, I wouldn't know any better. That's kind of how I was saying. I'm all in on Gengars now, just baseline, like as a Pokemon. Mew, I have my eyes on now in the future. Promos, I'm a little bit more open to, even though there's tens of thousands of them. I remember that Mew UPC promo was $2 or $3 or whatever, and now it's $80. Like it would have been the best returning product you could have purchased from a collection standpoint, investment standpoint. And so the glass birds, all those cards, they've just, again, I'm learning from that in terms of like I bought a bunch of prismatic EV ETB promos because those were a well-received artwork, but again, they're just printed into oblivion. There's so many of them out there. But now I think they're $12, $15. I don't think pretty much I'll just dollar cost average because no matter how much Pokemon prints, it's kind of shown that it will be a decent set long term. So we'll see.
Yeah, one
All
last
right.
reaction I have to some of the hobbyist forgiving comments is that some, like, obviously,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah, so it'll work itself out in some plays in the environment that we're in. Like, I look back on like 2022, and there are a ton of bad buys that I made, but like you just have to in terms of a batting average, you got to be hitting more than you miss. So
Yeah.
that's how I put it.
Yep. That's good advice. Damn, Jason actually dropping heat. Zach, you need to make a short clip of that. Use your brain. Underrated. Underrated comment from Jason. Use your brain. Let's go back to the basics, guys. Let's go back to the fundamentals, which is just neurons firing in your brain and doing research. Next credit card should have a Ditto printed on it. That would be pretty cool, actually. I don't know why they haven't done that. I have a Darth Vader debit card, so
5% back for every Ditto that you buy.
all right. I think we end it there. Quilly saying Jason, he loves you.
Love you too.
And they love Ditto. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Again, go follow Jason. Let me pull up his Instagram one more time. He is a wealth of knowledge. I'm so glad that, or so happy that Jake kind of introduced you to me. So thank you, Jake, as well. It's been cool to talk to all you guys. Like, I'm definitely excited to eventually. I really want to go to Worlds next year, and so if it's in the Bay, maybe we
You gotta
can
come
all
down sooner for like our whole barrage of like Bay Area card shows. There's a comment like Quilly about how like people in the Bay Area are deranged, and
I just haven't gone to a card show in general in a while, but I do need to. Maybe I can plan something early next year to do that. But yeah, here is Jason's Instagram. Go follow him. Go join the Discord down below in the description. And we will have him on again soon because it's always, I feel like I learn something every single time we have conversations. And are you, what's coming up? Are you going to, after this show next week, you're taking a bit of a breather and then are you flying to Japan?
No, so like Atlanta is this weekend. I fly out Friday night, land Saturday morning, go to the show, work the show. Sunday night, get back here, and then Monday fly back to Japan. So that is the life. I will be taking a little bit of a breather in October.
Oh, I will be going to Card Party. I will see anyone at Card Party who goes. I don't know if I'll be vending or not, but I will be there because it's too close to not go. Chat, if you don't watch Jason's YouTube and read his blog, please update it. By the way, Jason, you're missing Mad Heat. Yeah, go follow Jason. Go motivate him to publish more blog posts. So, okay, we'll end it there. Thank you all. Have a good night and be smart with your money. Let's not lose it all. So I'll end it there. Thank you guys. Bye.